Welcome to the What I Wish I Knew After Pregnancy Loss podcast. I am your host, Sharna Southern. I am an angel mum, a rainbow mum, a pregnancy loss practitioner, and trauma-informed coach. I created the Institute of Healing Through Pregnancy Loss out of my own experience with loss in the hopes to provide understanding and healing, educating people on pregnancy loss, and creating more women or men in trained support roles. In this podcast, I hope to shed light on what I wish I knew in relation to pregnancy loss, opening up the conversation, breaking the stigma, and bringing real-life stories plus guest experts. Thank you for being here with me today, and let's dive into today's episode.
In today's episode, I want to share with you the gap I see in reproductive loss, one I have created to fill that gap. Not only do I have the certification, the coming in August is the Missing Piece Masterclass, where we dive into what your training may have missed, or, if you are just starting out, providing you with this knowledge as a foundation. Please listen to the end for the details, past bonuses, and also read the show notes for further information. Let's dive in.
Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Sharna, and today we're speaking to two groups who might not realize they're in the same boat. The trained professional who freezes when pregnancy loss walks through their door, and the lost mother who knows in her bones she's meant to support others but feels desperately under-equipped because all she has is her own story. Last week, I received a message from a therapist with years of experience. Her client mentioned her stillbirth and she completely froze. Her grief training, trauma certifications, nothing prepared her for the look in her client's eyes. If something just tightened in your chest, you're exactly where you need to be. Because today we're exposing the missing piece, what nobody teaches you about reproductive trauma. And here's what might surprise you. The current postpartum model is incomplete, dangerously narrow, and systemically blind. Let me paint two pictures. Picture one, you're an excellent practitioner. Your other clients thrive. But when she mentions her miscarriage, your grief stages bounce off something deeper. Your cognitive behavioral therapy worksheets feel hollow. There's a wall you can't name. Picture two, you're 3 years past your loss. You've healed, grown. Other lost mums seek you out. You hold space beautifully, but inside you're thinking, I only know my journey. What if they need something I can't give? In 2017, I experienced my own loss, sent home with nothing. The therapist gave me space to cry, but I was left thinking, now what? I felt like there was always something missing. I wasn't fully seen in the grief and pain that comes with pregnancy loss. That's when I realized we've been treating trauma as grief. No wonder they're not getting better. Both of you, the professional and the lost mother, are feeling the same gap. One has training without the trauma lens. The other has lived experience without the framework. But here's what you're both witnessing. Her body is speaking words cannot. When she sits across from you, shoulders at her ears, arms shielding her empty belly, shallow breathing, eyes that dart away, her body is speaking trauma. Here's what changes everything. The brain science that explains why nothing's working. Pregnancy loss isn't just complicated grief. It's unrecognized trauma. Let me share what your training may be missing and what validates your lived experience. For perspective, normal postnatal depression affects 10 to 15% of women worldwide. For bereaved mothers, 39% develop PTSD versus 4 to 17% in general population. 41% higher risk of postnatal depression than women who haven't experienced loss. 4 times higher depression rates than mothers with living babies, and 6 times increased blood clot risk after stillbirth. Think about that for a moment. We have specialised training for postnatal depression that affects 10 to 15% of mothers. But pregnancy loss, which creates 41% higher depression risk and 39% PTSD rates, gets treated as complicated grief. Your teaching taught you that typical grief affects the prefrontal cortex, the meaning making, the limbic system, the emotions, and the memory centers. But reproductive trauma also affects the hypothalamic pituitary axis, which creates hormone crashes, the brainstem, which is your survival response, vagus nerve, which is the body-brain connection that's been disrupted, attachment circuitry, the bonding has been interrupted, and interoception networks, body awareness scrambled. The unique factors causes a hormonal storm. Pregnancy hormones crash without warning. Oxytocin bonding interrupted, progesterone plummets, prolactin rises, which means milk without a baby. Attachment trauma. The neural pathways of protection already formed, parenting circuits activated, then severed, and then love with nowhere to go. Body-brain confusion. The body prepared for birth and delivered loss. Cellular memory of pregnancy, nervous system in maternal mode without a baby. Survival response. The brain now codes this as life threat. Future pregnancies equal danger. Body stays braced for loss. Here's what they never taught us as well. Unresolved trauma affects future fertility. When the body's in chronic survival mode, it won't prioritize reproduction. This can explain unexplained infertility after loss. Lost mothers, this is why you felt terrified in subsequent pregnancies, because your body was protecting you. Professionals, this is why she's not moving through the stages. This is why talk therapy alone can't reach what lives in the body. To the lost mothers listening, yes, your instinct is right. Your story alone sometimes isn't enough, not because your journey isn't valuable, it's gold, but because every loss is unique. The neuroscience differs between miscarriage, stillbirth, and termination for medical reasons. Trauma shows up differently in different nervous systems. What regulated your nervous system might dysregulate another's. But here's what you have that training can't teach. You know when at least you can get pregnant lands like a knife. You recognize the body language of loss. You understand why she can't just relax and try again. You felt the gap between what's offered and what's needed. To the professionals, your training gave you structure, but it missed the somatic reality. You see her protective postures, but weren't taught to read that language. I want to share with you Kelly's story. She found me after multiple losses, failed IVF, and the end of her fertility journey. She thought, I'm just a lost mum, what can I offer? But once she understood the neuroscience behind her experience, everything clicked. Her lived experience became her medicine because she had the framework to understand why her approach works. This is the bridge we're building. Lived wisdom held within a trauma-informed framework. Now, what you're actually seeing when she sits with you isn't just complicated grief. What you see are shoulders at her ears, arms shielding her belly, shallow breathing in her upper chest, eyes that dart away from contact, hands that won't stay still. what she's been told. You need to move through the stages. Try to think positively. At least you know you can fall pregnant. Time will heal. What her body is saying, I'm not safe. I failed. I can't trust myself. The world is dangerous. I need protection. We're trained to listen to words, but trauma speaks through the body first. I had a client come after 2 years of grief counseling, stuck in anger, they said. When I watched her nervous system, shoulders, her arms, shallow breathing. Her nervous system was still in a threat response. When we work somatically instead of cognitively, everything shifted because we treated what was actually there, the trauma living in her body. Here's what really breaks my heart. The current postpartum model assumes every mother has a baby to hold. But where is the breastfeeding support when her milk came in for a baby who died? Support groups, mental health screening, and not being asked re-traumatizing questions of how's the baby going. My clients shared what they desperately needed. Recognition that they have 2 children. One just isn't earthside. Understanding that this isn't general grief. And someone who gets why her body won't calm down. The gap isn't in your dedication, it's in the framework. This is why I created the pregnancy loss recovery method. And this is why this method works for both groups. If you're a professional, these pillars show you what's exactly happening beneath the grief. If you're a mother, these pillars give structure to what you intuitively know. Emotional literacy, the language of grief. Neuro-reprogramming, the mind rewoven. Identity reconnection, the return to self. Trauma-informed care, the tender witnessing, and nervous system optimization, the sacred recalibration. We're building a new baseline for capacity, teaching her body that safety is possible again, that hope isn't dangerous. So instead of asking next time, what stage of grief are you in? Try, what is your body telling you right now? Sometimes numbness is a sensation to notice because it's not safe for her to feel and to be present with their body. This shift from cognitive to somatic changes everything. You're going where the trauma actually lives. One of my graduated students told me, I finally feel like I reached a full circle. My clients have aha moments when I give them concrete tools that actually work. Her breakthrough, we can call pregnancy loss trauma. This opens so many new doors for healing. Whether you have letters after your name or just letters written to babies who never came home, you have something needed. The Missing Piece Masterclass is a comprehensive training that revolutionizes how you understand pregnancy loss. You'll discover why traditional approaches leave clients stuck, the complete neuroscience behind reproductive trauma, how to recognize trauma living in the body, the 5-pillar framework that actually works, and real transformation stories from practitioners who found their missing piece. Plus 2 hours of CPD points, comprehensive workbook with assessment tools, a live Q&A to address your specific questions, and the chance to win an exclusive nervous system regulation toolkit. Lost mothers, stop believing you need psychology degrees. You need framework for your wisdom. And professionals, stop thinking more grief training will help. You need the trauma lens for pregnancy loss. One practitioner shared, "I went from dreading these sessions to specializing in pregnancy loss." Another told me, "The trauma-informed lens was the missing link that expanded my awareness completely." The most powerful practitioners are those who understand the neuroscience and carry the wisdom of experience, whether their own or witnessed through their clients. The revolution in pregnancy loss support comes from the marriage of both lived experience held within trauma-informed, neuroscientifically sound framework. Join me for the Missing Piece Masterclass, which will be held on August the 13th at 9:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Register through the link in the show notes. You can also read more about the masterclass there as well. If you can't attend live, register anyway because the replay is available to you. When you register, you'll also receive immediate access to the window of tolerance assessment, so you can start recognizing nervous system states right away, either in yourself or it is something that you can use for your clients. Because the gap between what exists and what's needed, you are the bridge. Your clients, current or future, are waiting for someone who gets this. Let that someone be you. Trust what brought you here. Until next time, trust what your body knows. Thank you for listening in with me today. I hope you found this episode helpful. If you did, I would absolutely love to hear from you. Take a screenshot of this episode, share it to social media, and tag me at Institute of Healing_PL. I love seeing what is resonating with you right now. If you want to chat further, I invite you to connect with me through Instagram. Head over and follow my Instagram account, send me a DM, and let's open the communication. If you want to know more about how you can be the support for others, head to the show notes and fill out the application form for the Pregnancy Loss Practitioner certification. I want to also note here that what I share within the episodes is not medical advice. If you need further support, please consult your doctor. Thank you again. Much love to you. Be gentle with yourself, and I look forward to supporting you on the next episode.